All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. It's been a couple of days since I've posted a video on my channel, and that's because I've been playing a lot of Lost Ark, and I've been streaming a lot of Lost Ark. And on my stream, a lot of people are asking me, well, how did you get to 1300 item level so quickly? I've actually been here for a couple of days and not really moved an item level because I prioritized selling my materials from tier 3 for gold. And we'll talk about that later. I've earned all of this gold just naturally playing the game. I haven't sold any of my Founders Pack skins or anything like that. I haven't bought any gold whatsoever. I've just played the game naturally because I've played the game in the past. And I want to share some of the things that I did with you guys because I found out recently that only 3% of players have made it to Yorn, which is the first tier 2 continent of the game. A lot of you guys are stuck in tier 1, and I want to help you get unstuck or get out of tier 1. So I'm going to share with you what I did in today's video. The first thing that you're going to want to understand is that islands exist in Lost Ark, and the reason why you've heard so much about islands, and there's a list of islands that you should do, is that they are implemented as catch-up systems for players in other regions, and we got them in our region, that being NAEU, South America, and pretty much everywhere else in the world. We have the catch-up version of those islands. I will have a list of the islands that you want to be doing early on in tier 1. You're not going to be able to do every single island the most optimal way like I did, but as long as you're kind of going down the route of some of these islands, you'll do just fine in earning a lot of your materials. However, the first thing that I do want to suggest that you do is make your way down once you hit level 50 to Black Fang's Den. You want to do Black Fang's Den as soon as you hit 50. You want to then go north and do Freedom Island. And these will give you some pirate coins that will allow you to purchase a song from Pato. Pato is a cruise ship that exists in the world, and Pato sells a song called Song of Resonance for pirate coins. You want to buy that song, and that song will allow you to do the event that takes place every 2 hours on Lullaby Island. You can head over to this island and play the song for this event, that song that you bought, Song of Resonance, and that will allow you to then learn another song called The Forest Minuet, and that song will allow you to finish Dream Goal Island, which is an island on the list down below in my description that you guys should check out. Okay, so yes, follow those islands, and then of course do your Chaos Dungeons and your Guardian Raids. Do those every day. However, what I do recommend that you do once again is I recommend you do your Chaos Dungeons and your Guardian Raids, if possible, towards the end of the day after you're done upgrading. Because as you can see, each Chaos Dungeon goes up in tier by item level, and if you do the early ones at the start of your day and then do islands and upgrade, you won't be able to do the higher item level one for that day, which would result in a little bit less material. So make sure you do your islands, make sure you do all of the other activities for the day before you do your Chaos Dungeon and your Guardian Raid, and that also includes your dailies. Okay, Alt J opens up your daily tab, and the way the daily system works is you will set a few dailies in mind that you want to do for materials that you need. Typically people choose ones that give them these leap stones as they're worth the most in terms of value, but you can take shards for the day. You can do 3 dailies per day, and you can do 3 weeklies per week on all of your characters. And this also works towards this system here that I'll talk about in a future video that allows you to earn tokens to turn in for gold. But as far as just doing these dailies and weeklies, do them because they give you mats. This is another way of avoiding doing your Chaos Dungeon or your Guardian Raid for that day. Another really important thing that I took advantage of early on is going to be the Welcome Challenge. The Welcome Challenge is not something that's normally in Lost Ark. I have not seen this in another region before, either Korea or Russia. And this system is basically a way of earning free materials to help players accelerate the rate at which they upgrade their gear. Make sure you've gone through all of the ones that are available to you, especially if they're giving you materials, right? Some of these give you things to upgrade your ship, but some of these give you a lot of materials that are pretty damn good, okay? Pretty damn good. So make sure you're doing these, and this will also keep track of some of the major islands that you should have done, like Azure Wind Island, which we'll touch on in a little bit when you get to tier 2. So yes, do your guardian raids or chaos dungeons at the end of the day. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're doing your dailies. However, when it comes to doing those chaos dungeons, a lot of people ask me, Stoopzz, you know, I'm so close. I need a little bit more harmony shards. And I tell them, have you used up all of your vendors? And what I mean by that is there's a lot of vendors that exist in Lost Ark. There is a chaos dungeon vendor, so people have this assumption that you can only run 2 chaos dungeons a day. This isn't true. You can actually spam chaos dungeons. However, when it comes to doing them, the first 2 give you armor and flat mats. After your first 2, you then earn a exchange shard, a shard that you can exchange for at a vendor, and you can buy mats per week from this vendor, and this will help you in pushing your character. So spamming some chaos dungeons throughout the week to earn this currency to clear out the vendor for materials that you may need is really useful. Another really important vendor is the pirate ship vendor, which is why pirate coins are so helpful. If you head over to any dock outside of a major city, there is a pirate ship vendor. The really cool thing about this vendor is that you can go on each of your characters and buy these materials, at least the weapon and armor crystals, with power coins, and then send them to one of your main characters. So if you have those extra alts that you got from the power pass, those free character boosts, you can come here on every single one of your characters, buy these weapon and armor shards, and then send them to one of your characters. You cannot send these though, however. These are bound, but again, there's lots of materials that you can buy using pirate coins. Okay, and the same exists for your guild vendor. If you're in a guild, there's a guild vendor, and that's usually by any Coliseum icon on the map. I'll show you here in a second. And you can also use that to get any missing materials that you may need. So make sure that you're doing that on your main character, doing the Chaos Dungeon vendor, doing the pirate ship vendor, and if you're in a guild, using the guild vendor. The guild vendor is, by the way, not that much. You're not getting that many materials compared to the other ones, but it is important to note, and that vendor is called the Samil Bloodstone Exchange right over here. So you can just search that in any major city, and you'll find that vendor. Okay? Another really important tip that you can do is you can do the normal and hard mode story dungeons of each zone. If you did the normal ones while you were going through the zone or while you were leveling, so that's Rohandel, that's going to be Yorn, that's going to be Phaeton, wherever you are in the game, you can do those story dungeons, and if you do them, you will be rewarded with mats at the end. So you're going to find out where the dungeon exists, and if you complete Arehala's Wall, for example, on hard mode, you will get additional mats to upgrade your character. So make sure you've exhausted these options as well. Another thing that I want to talk about is Mary's Shop. Now, a lot of people were saying, why am I buying everything from Mary's Shop? And what I did was I converted my gold to blue crystals, and I used Mary's Shop to get materials. This is not paying to win. This is using your gold. It's there to give you a deal to get materials. So Mary's Shop is actually there to regulate the price of the economy for players. If I go to buy materials, especially early on, they've gone down in price quite a bit now to match Mary's Shop. But for several days there, some of these materials were so overpriced that that it was not worth buying materials with the gold that you had lying around. It was better for you to convert your gold into blue crystals and then to buy from Mary, as it was a deal compared to buying from the auction house. So what you want to do is see on your region how much these materials are going for, and then how much you're getting from Mary as well, and compare the prices. Typically, at least right now, Mary's Shop is going to be a deal. And a lot of you are wondering, well, how do I get blue crystals with my gold? And the way that you do that is you simply find, I'll move this out of the way for you. You simply find how much people are selling their crystals for and how much people are buying crystals for, right? These are people that are looking to sell their crystals because they want your gold. And these are for people that are looking to sell their gold for blue crystals. I never, ever recommend buying gold at all right now. I'm not saying you can never buy gold in the future, but right now, this is not a good deal for people that are buying gold. This is a terrible deal. Absolutely terrible deal. This is people that are trying to rush or they don't know what they're doing. So if you're down here, you want to make sure you're buying gold. So you're going to go to buy crystals, and then all you have to do is match the price of what the lowest offer that someone's trying to sell at. So people are trying to sell crystals at 258G. So I would do 258G, and then how many per 100. It says 95 because there's a minor tax in it. But I can change the number to 3 stacks, 4 stacks, right? 1 stack gives me 95 at 258, like we saw here. If I buy 2, then it goes up 3. And then you just set the order for how much you want or need. So that's another option in getting those materials. Now, really fast, I do want to discuss, earlier I said that many people, or only 3% of players are actually at Yorn, and many players are stuck in tier 1. Now, for those of you that are making your way to Yorn, once you get to 600 item level, and this is the same thing for 1100 item level, you will jump 200 item level. Okay, when you're doing a chaos dungeon of any new tier, so Yorn is tier 2 and Papanika is tier 3, you jump 200 item level for free. So oftentimes I hear things like, how do these people get to, how are you at 1302? Or 1316, that's crazy. The truth is that once you go to Yorn, right, you have North Vern and Rohandel, this is tier 1, then you hit Yorn tier 2, the base Chaos Dungeon gear is 802. So you will make your way to Yorn at 600 item level, but then once you do a Chaos Dungeon, the gear that drops is 200 item level higher, and the same goes for Punika. Once you make it to 1100 item level, in tier 2, you go to Punika, you jump to 1300 item level. There's a lot of confusion surrounding this, and a lot of people are saying, how is it possible that you've gone up so much? It's nothing. I mean, it is pretty fast. I would say my pace and a lot of people's pace that are in this zone are pretty fast, but you're not as far behind as you think you are. A lot of people think you're months behind. You're not. You're probably a couple days of just of efficient farming behind. So once you made your way to Yorn, I will have a list of islands to do. There's also a Zerwin island that will need a special guide in completing. It's like a mini game island. I'll have that link down below. That one gives you a ton of mats, and it also is part of the welcome challenge as well. You want to make sure that you do a Zerwin because you get a ton of mats from doing it. And you're going to need a few songs with that. Again, if you mess up some of these islands, it's not the end of the world. So when you make your way to tier 2, do those islands, and then you're probably asking yourself, well, what do I do with a lot of my gear? What do I do if I get a new set of gear, or I get gear that is 802 and I have my old gear now from tier 1? You want to just make sure you recycle your gear, okay? You want to recycle your gear. This is how you upgrade your gear, right? You have the same tab in upgrading that you're used to by now, I'm sure. But you want to make sure with your old gear, if it's blue, it doesn't matter if you've upgraded it, you can recycle it onto your legendary gear. Don't get confused by different gear. It's all the same shit, okay? If you get a new set from doing Abyss Dungeons, or a new set from doing some raiding content, you can recycle your blue gear, your upgrades onto the gear that you get, right? So as an example, I'll recycle this item. This is my +3 weapon onto this one. Doesn't matter if it's blue to blue or yellow to yellow or whatever it is, just do recycling, and boom, you can transfer your upgrades over. Do that when you get to a new tier because you get a free upgrade. Anyways, you guys, I know that was a lot of information really fast. If you do have more questions, I didn't want to overwhelm you in this video. You can check out my live stream somewhere here on the screen. I'd be more than willing to answer them, help you guys out, because I've been answering so many questions that I'm pretty much used to it at this point. I know the game is a lot to take in all at once, but it's also a lot of fun. So I encourage you guys to keep going at your own pace. Take your time. Do not worry. Don't feel like you're behind, because I'm telling you right now, you guys, you are not behind. It may seem like I'm ahead, but in reality, I'm not that far ahead at all. I'm probably just a couple of days ahead of you, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Take the game at your own pace. Have some fun. And again, if you do have any questions, be sure to let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.